Where'd they get that information? Well, this will give you an idea. These are some doctors and scientists that you can find on the internet. Matter of fact, this doctor here is on PBS quite often talking about the microbiomes. So this is just, I just took some segments of a few different doctors and scientists so that you could get a little idea of what's being said out there. And it's important, I feel, because when I first started learning this, it was just very hard to me to believe. It was hard to absorb. And so I really became a student online of trying to find out all I could find out about microbiomes. As a matter of fact, after this, I'll take a few minutes to tell you my own personal story.
We are in the era of the microbiome now, and we are really at its infancy, even though for functional medicine we've been doing this for 30 years. And effectively, we kind of didn't know all the reasons why everything was working, and now we're learning and growing about it. And it's just an extraordinary time.
The critical nature of the microbiome. If there's one organ that's most important, it's the microbiome.
We really are in the area of research where the microbiome is really hitting all fields. So the microbiome health is impacting cardiology, neurology, immunology, endocrinology, that they're finding your gut microbiome can impact all these different disease processes. Now, they're still trying to figure out how, but they do know that the more diverse your gut is, that the more protective effects you have through all these different diseases.
For me, our body is not belonging to us. I think our body is belonging to our microbiota. So the question is why we have this huge amount of bacteria. Because they play more strategic role than before.
So when you're looking at longevity, you're looking at vitality, and I want my body to be more engaged and alive. What we teach the Institute for Functional Medicine all the time, you also need to include an evaluation of the microbiome, the bacteria of your gut. This is the organ that controls everything, your microbiome.
Certain concepts are actually blowing up our ideas of what's true. You know, our current theory of disease doesn't match the facts. The microbiome is the greatest example, where we now know that gut flora can be causing cancer. It can cause, and at Cleveland Clinic we have, Kara Sang, who's researching the microbiome in breast cancer. We have Stan Hazen, who's looking at the microbiome in heart disease. We have understandings that may be related to dementia or depression or autism or autoimmune disease or obesity or diabetes. And how do we even frame that, right? You don't go to the rheumatologist with rheumatoid arthritis and they go, well, let me look at your stool test and your microbiome, right? That's not happening yet. It will, and we will get there. And the convergence of, some major trends is going to transform medicine and health. I mean, the gut is at the center of our health. I mean, this has been known for thousands of years by ancient healing traditions, and we're just discovering now. We thought, your poop was just your poop, but now we're understanding that, there are more molecules from microbes in your gut, in your bloodstream, than your own human molecules. So you are literally, far more than just yourself.
The gut is one of the most important part of our body, and it plays a significant role in the immune function. The main reason is one of the most important cells of the immune system, which regulates the immune system, are in the epithelial tissue. I'm sure you know, or many people know, that the 70% of the immune system is in the gut, actually. And so therefore, the communication of the immune system, or cells involved in the immune system, with the environment of the gut, meaning the microbiome and food, is playing a significant role in our overall health.
So you can see this isn't just empty wishes and dreams we're talking about. This is all backed by science. Now, learning this has impressed me a lot, and let me tell you why. I actually died on April 6th of 2021 at the Louisville airport, and I was dead for 6 minutes. I had 2 arteries that were completely blocked. Have not been a strong proponent of my health. But obviously, once that happened, I knew I better start doing something. And even a little before that, I was doing a lot of supplementation because I don't exercise properly. I don't eat properly. I'm better now, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I was spending about $250 a month on Amazon for subscriptions for all these various things. And then now I've subsequently learned that they don't really make it. Most of them don't even make it past your stomach because of the acids in your stomach. And, you know, probiotics, everybody's heard of those. But when you take it in a pill or capsule form, it has to have prebiotics in order for these bacteria to live. So again, research it. It's very easy to research. If you have a search engine on your phone or your computer, I don't care which one it is, Yahoo, Google, Safari, whatever it is, you can access all this information about the gut microbiome. So what had happened is after I died, and I'm very thankful that there was a VA emergency room doctor on my flight, and he's the one that saved my life. And so it's a situation where that got my attention pretty good. I mean, I was 280 pounds, and I knew that had to go. I've been an insulin-dependent diabetic for about, I don't even know exactly, between 15 and 20 years. And a heart patient, I actually had 2 stents put in my heart. I had a heart attack back in 2008. This was 2021. I had 5 stents put in because this one. So I now have 7 stents in me. And just, you know, I don't know how to put it. I was freaking out. What am I going to do here? This is, you know, it's a situation you're going to hear that saying later on. You know, you can either take the time for wellness now, or you're going to be forced to take time for your illness later. And that's just something everybody on this call, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You know, think of these athletes we're hearing about, 23, 24 years old, that are having heart problems and stuff. Well, when you study those heart issues and that, it's affected by the gut. So I ended up, I started on a low carb diet to start losing weight before I learned anything about LoveBiome. And I just want to be completely, you know, upfront about that. Then I went to the doctor. Now this was before LoveBiome, because I started the product actually on the end of January of 2022. So you can see this was November. This is from my doctor's office. And this was my status of what was going on in my body at that point. You'll notice that this is an enzyme that's attached to the liver. And it was 1,379, whatever ULs are. And it was supposed to be between 12 and 64. So a little off, needless to say, a little off. So the doctors were a little freaked out over this. Now here's some of my other enzymes, all of them out of whack, all of them. So now they're doing MRIs, and they're not saying the big C word to me, but I kind of got a vibe that they were fearful of that. And so I started getting emails and seeing Facebook posts from these guys that formed this company, because I worked with them in the Noni company for 20 years. So these are people I know. These are people I trust. I've worked with them, like I said, 20 years. I know what kind of people they are. So I want you to also see what I was ingesting, what the doctors had me on. By the way, there's a doctor in Orlando, Florida. McFarland is his last name. And he personally told me that the number 4 cause of death in the United States of America is your doctor. So it's cancer, diabetes, and heart disease are the top 3. And your doctor's number 4, and that's because of misdiagnosis and over-medication. Well, here's some of the medications I was on back there in November. Metformin twice a day, so 2,000 milligrams a day of that. Carvedilol, which is for the blood pressure, I was on 6.2 milligrams. I had to do it 2 times a day, plus 1.5, so really it was 775. Then lisinopril, that was also a blood pressure medicine. I was on 40 milligrams of that. And the hydrochloride, I was on 12.5 of that. Now, prasugrel, that is what is designed to prevent clogging, and because they're concerned because of these stents. And so they did tell me that I'll probably be on that one for the rest of my life. Then atorvastatin, that is a cholesterol medicine. I was 80 milligrams of that, you know, back at this time. Then, in addition to that, I'm on Novolin N now, but then I was taking 20 units 3-4 times a day, anywhere between 80 and 100 units a day of these two insulins. R is a fast-acting release one. The N is what I took at night because it's slower acting. And then January 31st, I began using Go Love Life, or the Love Biome program, called our Daily 3 system. Now look what happened. Now this is May of 2022. So now remember, I started right around the 1st of February. So this is like my third month. I had to go by a doctor, back to the doctor. Guess why I had to go back to the doctor? Because I got sent to the emergency room because I'm a guy, and sad to say, the serious joke is that as a man, we don't have doctors, we have undertakers. But that's not so funny when it really starts happening, if you get my drift. And so I wasn't taking this insulin, these heart pills for so long. I just did it. I took, I bang insulin, and when I remembered, I'd hit just 20 units. Well, look what happened on the glucose levels. It was dropping. My A1C went from like 7.7 down to 6. Matter of fact, the doctor said that had I just come in, they wouldn't even call me a diabetic. And so when I hit myself with that insulin, my sugar wasn't out of balance, and so it dropped. And you could die when it hits 40. Mine was 32. There was a lady in the office where I worked that happened to be medically inclined. She knew to call 911. The ambulance got me. And so, I'm like, what? So the same thing was happening with the blood pressure medicine. I'm getting dizzy. Well, this is a result. This is still back this May, a second time I was there. Point is, they started taking me off of it. They took me off the hydrochloride one right away. Now I only take the carvedilol. It's the minimum of 1.25. I do take that twice a day, but they said I won't be on it forever. The cholesterol medicine is now down to 20 milligrams. I was taking the 80 before because it's 40 twice a day. And my A1C is below 7. It was at 6.7 then. And then the last time I went, because I went again after this. And so that was May. I think I went in June or July just for a subsequent visit. And it was down to 6. And by the way, now I'm, I just weighed myself the other day. I was down to 195 and I've picked up about 7 pounds. And that's because I still try to watch what I eat, in that I avoid sugar because I'm a diabetic. So I try to avoid things with sugar. I get no sugar added stuff, no sugar ketchup, that kind of thing. And then I do try to watch my carb intake. But because things are under control now, I ain't afraid to have a French fry from time to time. So what's my point? My point is, look, there isn't anybody on this call here today that has a perfect diet. I'm guessing. I don't know that for a fact. Somebody can correct me if they want to when we get finished here. But probably everybody doesn't have a perfect diet. The point is that when you have a product that provides you with these colors and these fruits and vegetables for you on a daily basis, yeah, it would be better if we all ate perfect diets too. It would work even better. But for me to have those kind of changes in my life in 3 months, come on. And I'm still not a perfect eater, still not a very good exerciser. It's a situation where the gut is the center of health. And that's why it's so crucial for each and every one of us to study it and to know it. So look at the ingredients. Now, this is what the microbiologist from Brigham Young learned. And he was looking at these different combinations. And he was like, well, this is exactly what the microbiomes need. Now, that was our first one. That was called Next Balance. It's called Next because the core in these 2 liquid supplements is noni, because we've already learned about noni, but we've learned a way to perfect the noni through what's called red light fermentation. So in these 2 liquid supplements, look at the diverse ingredients that are all designed to help the gut. But the important thing is they work symbiotically with each other to maximize your polyphenols, which is an important ingredient. Again, very studyable. All you got to do is Google it, and you'll see the importance of polyphenols in the microbiome system. then this is the big one. This our Fighter Power product. This is a powder that you can mix in any liquid. It's very fine. Reminds me of powdered sugar. You know, you blow it away like that. So it mixes very easily in anything. But my point is, you not only have these enzyme blends, you got all the colors in it. It's so diverse. And when you know, Zach, that microbiologist, saw this stuff, he's like, that's when he said, I couldn't have designed this any better myself. So we are very excited to see the benefits. So the people that are using this product, they're not with Tisha Noni. I had one guy that had a carpal tunnel real bad, and he felt the ease in that within a few days. But most of the time with it, we try to tell people, look, you know, within 90 days, you should begin to feel better. That's gone. Now it's a situation where people 1 and 2 days, the day of, matter of fact, there's people on this call that'll tell you their own personal story. The day of, they felt different. Their energy levels changed. Their sleep patterns changed. The gut is what controls their circadian rhythm, which if you don't know about, learn about it. But it's your sleep patterns. It's all dictated by the gut. So these products, as you heard in the video, there was over 400 that they'd learned about, but they honed it down to high 90s. It's 96 to be exact. That makes up our Daily 3 system.